We live in this massively effed up era of subverting expectations and altering things for agenda. But the problem is that the agenda for some people matters more in a lot of cases. It matters more. And it matters more when they create it. And even if you're not on board with the agenda, you're so desperate to get your show. You're so desperate to have your property be popular. Remember, this is a little bit of high school lunch table politics. You want your favorite franchise, you want the thing you love to be loved by everybody else. Just like in high school, if you have self-esteem problems, you want to be loved by everybody. You want to be popular. You will do anything to sit at the popular kids' table. Wheel of Time stands are no different at this point, and we are seeing them right now. You go to the comments in my Wheel of Time videos, anything related to that, they are there in force, and they are attracting at the same time SJWs. And I pose to you that it is not mutually exclusive, and I think I use the term correctly. I sometimes have a problem with it. I admit that. One of those words that kind of sometimes gets a little out there for me. It is not mutually exclusive to be both an SJW, or a stan. And I believe that more often than not these days, they are all one and the same. These stans and SJWs, they cannot stand when you have a different opinion. Again, go into my commentary, go into the comments of the Brandon Sanders video. That one particular SJW, I'm not going to even dignify giving his name, because if you're watching, I don't care what you think. The fact that you actually care, think I care what you think, is funny. But they think we care, and it drives them to do crazy things, because they continually try to engage us. They continually try to show us how superior they are. And in doing so, as I look at this person, the pathetic nature of their behavior, I don't know if I want to say I feel sad, but I feel something that grips my heart. It's not sadness. It's not even pity. It's disgust. Maybe disgust is the word, but it grips me and it feels like fear. And it makes me feel nervous, because watching people behave abominably because you have a different opinion from them, it shocks me. It really, really does. I'll argue against opinions all day long, but at the end of the day, I could walk away from the argument and not feel utter contempt and hatred for the other person just because they had a different opinion. I do it all the time with my friend Fire, who has a vastly different opinion on Disney Star Wars than I do. He still thinks it's shit, but he has a completely different opinion and is willing to accept it in a certain way. And we can go on for like an hour with me saying not horrible things, but me yelling at him. And then when it's all over, we can stop and we can talk about video games for another hour like the conversation never happened. Because that's what normal people can do. But SJWs and stans, I said in the title of this video, they're broken. They're broken. We're going to start with the stans, because I think SJWs, that's been talked to death. That's talked to death about what is the whole problem with SJWs. We know that they have no personality. They have no individual character. They need to be told what to think. But the stans who become SJWs, to me, they were different. Once upon a time, I think that stans were normal people. I think they were normal fans. I think that they loved something so much, it was part of it. It gave them something to latch onto in their lives, and it made them feel good inside. And when given the chance for it to be popular, something changes in them. And this is just my theory on the anatomy of a stan, on what turns a stan into a stan. When their franchise becomes popular, something changes in them. When it looks like it's going to be something big and grand, suddenly they get to be the popular kid in the room, because they have all this knowledge and they can talk to people and educate people on the thing they love so much. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've heard plenty of stories of people talking about how they'll be doing this and that, and they'll mention something, and some nerd will be there, like in a comic book shop or a video store or something like that, and then they'll engage you, and they'll want to inform you on the thing they love. And when it's done in the grassroots natural way, with just them being passionate and wanting to share their love for something, there's nothing wrong with that. I've done it myself plenty of times to my own mother, boring her to tears as I grew up with things that I love. But she's my mom and she loves me, so she would let me prattle on like a good little child because she didn't want to stunt my creativity and my love in things. So it's the thing about a stan is these are people, in my opinions, in a lot of ways, these stans, suddenly they are the friend of the most popular kid in school. They are a friend of the most popular franchise on the block. They are the friend of the thing that's getting all the attention, and they feel emboldened. And to use Wheel of Time, Amazon's Wheel of Time is an example. Wheel of Time, and many of you here know, they have been struggling to get this made into something for 30 years. It has been a long road to try and get something turned into Wheel of Time, live action, whatever. Me personally, at this point in my life, I prefer animated stuff because you can do so much more with animated. You can get away with so much more. And it costs less too, if you ask me. At least it costs us to pay the actors. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe animation costs more. I don't know. But I like animation better. It's the anime nerd in, anime nerd in me. But Wheel of Time finally gets its moment in the spotlight. Fans of the Wheel of Time waiting 30 years. Me, I wasn't waiting for this. Like I said, I'm just a guy who reads the books and enjoys them. I didn't need to see it on the screen. I enjoy reading books. I enjoy reading stuff like this more because then I see it in my head like a movie anyway. But for some people, this was it. This was the moment. And if you utter any dissent that could possibly harm it, you are an apostate. You are a heretic. You must be shunned, shamed, swarmed, canceled, and pushed away so that nobody can hear the words you're saying. Nobody can hear the words you're saying. And so if there's anything wrong, we cannot let anything be said wrong because the show must go, because the show cannot be canceled. We've waited too long. That is the mindset of a stan when something like this happens, and they get so invested in it, they put everything into it. Now, there are different varieties of stan. I would say the MCU stan is much different than, say, actually, no, the MCU stan and the Disney Star Wars stan, they're kind of the same. But like those two stands are kind of different from the Wheel of Time stan. The Wheel of Time stan tends to be an educated stan. They tend to really have a lot of information, but they've suddenly transformed into intolerant SJWs because they're afraid. It's fear. I think it's fear that drives a stan. It's fear that drives a stan. When a stan realizes that their argument is on shaky ground, they somehow, maybe it's in the genetic of the type of that, maybe it's in the social media genetics of it, they become an SJW and they turn aggressive and they attack and they attack and they attack and they will call you names. I mean, look at that special case in the comments in the Brandon Sanderson, that SJW. He has called you fine people bigots and racists. He has called me many, many fun names. And he instantly applauds anybody that is attacking us as well in there. The Brandon Sanderson stands, the other Wheel of Time stands are in there. And they are just, it's born of fear. It goes from elation to fear. And they fear the fear of them not suddenly being popular anymore, that their favorite thing will suddenly become relegated to just another show. So what do? Many of you say they sell out. They just say it like it is. They say anything they can just to keep the positive word of mouth going. And when someone like me 6-7 months ago asked the question, why did they race swap these characters? Race swapping is the open door to making changes. I'm warning you. They swarmed me, and they swarmed many others like me because they're afraid. And then they claim I'm not a real fan. I'm not right, that I'm trying to buy my way into fandom. I'm trying to earn points and not understanding that I don't care about that kind of stuff. If I cared about winning friends and not making enemies, I would be the biggest shill in the world. I would be an actual grifter. I would be pretending that it's okay that they made these changes. It's okay that Moraine likes the clam now. And we're going to talk about this in a minute. See, we're going to see the articles right here. We're going to get to that in a minute. We'll talk about that, fallout from that. They will attack you. They will attack me. They will do anything possible that it's okay that that happened. It's okay that they might make the Dragon Reborn a powerful woman. No, it's not okay. And when you tell them it's not okay, they're so wrapped up in their fear that it has broken their mind and created the cognitive dissonance that they are forcing on their perception of reality to make themselves feel good about watching, because they love it so much that they're afraid it will completely die. Because let's be honest, Wheel of Time is done. It had its beginning and it had its end as a series. It's all right there. And if this doesn't happen, if this falls apart, it probably isn't going to come back again. Franchises, in my opinion, can be saved when there's still stuff to be done with it. I say Star Wars can still be saved because there's still always this. The camera there. There's always the EU. The EU is still always going to be there because the EU was never properly farmed, never properly put on the screen. Therefore, it's still there to one day there could still be a Star Wars renaissance one day if a better character could come along. But Wheel of Time, it's one and done. I'd say it's there. It's done. 14 books, 15 if you count New Spring. It's there. And if this fails, if enough people say this is horrible, it could very well never see the light of day again. Because, people in entertainment and legacy entertainment, they're cowards. If something failed once, they're not going to go near it again. So the stands, this is the fear that drives them. And that's why I say they're broken, because they can't see that the thing they loved so much has been perverted so that it will fail. And they don't want to hear that because of cognitive dissonance. And then you add in the SJWs who kind of join their ranks and blend with them and start saying that those of us who are against this, we are only hating it because we're unhappy that Moraine dines in Tuna Town. We're unhappy about that. And that makes us bigots. We're filled with hate. We're angry. We're racist because they race chains. Swan Sanche. Thanks for watching, everybody. I don't do Facebook. I will never do Twitter. If you want to reach out to me, just email me. It's purely for this channel. I will not miss your communication. Check me out at the Geeks and Gamers forums under @ROAS. Join me in conversations there, among many others. And I'm now on Odyssey @TheRenaissanceNerd. Follow me there as well. Help us keep fighting to return escapism to entertainment. Thank you again for watching. See you next time.